Hello and welcome to another book tag video. This one is the I'll get around to it later book tag, and it seems very good to do it in December as we've possibly been pushing things off, as we'll get to it this year. I was tagged though by Dr. L. Reeds at Novel Insights, so thank you very much for the tag, because out of the tons and tons of tags that are apparently out there for BookTube, I don't know what most of them are. And my brain also believes that we have to be tagged to be able to do them. Probably not true, but that's what I tell myself as I think, oh, that might be fun, but I can't just do it. Okay, before we start rambling, let's go ahead and start answering questions. Oh, and I'm Morgan. If this happens to be your first time here, we're nailing the intro, but we're going to continue because it's late at night, and yeah, this is the second time I'm filming this because I accidentally wiped mascara on my face during the first take. Question 1 is a classic book that you have been meaning to read forever but haven't yet. There are so many classics that I haven't read. I don't even know most of them. I don't think I would read most of them. Maybe like classic sci-fi and fantasy would probably be more than classics. One, though, that could fall in both categories is The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. I have never gotten around to reading that, and I really feel like I should at some point. Also, while making this list, I started to question whether or not I've read The Three Musketeers. I don't know why. I feel like I have, but then I also can't fully remember when that would have been. It possibly would have been after reading The Count of Monte Cristo back in like 2009 or 2010. Maybe. But also maybe not, because when I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really different than the movie. Question 2. A book on your shelf you haven't read yet. Similar to the classics, there are so many. Thankfully, many less than that. Which one did I pick? I have like books. Oh, right. I remember now. I have my stack, and I must rearrange my stack. Okay, so of the many, let's see. There's Shards of Earth, which is the first in the final architecture trilogy by Adrian Tchaikovsky. Really thought I would get to this year, but I didn't. Let's blame Sun Eater for taking up a large amount of my brain and mental faculties and trying to do things with that. Another one that I thought I would get to this year would be The Shadow of the Lost by James Islington. I don't know how to say it. This is the start of another trilogy as well. This is the start of the Lycanius trilogy. I have the audiobook to go with this too. Did not start either of those trilogies, sadly. Question 3 is a book that you recently got but haven't read yet. I just got this one in October, I do believe. And weirdly, the next one did not come in November. I didn't even get a shipping schedule for it yet. What you do in Broken Binding? The Three-Body Problem by Shizhen Liu. Said that wrong. It's the first of the series trilogy. Is it the Three-Body trilogy? The Dark Force is the second book, right? So that's not the name of the trilogy. Saw the Netflix series, of course, and heard about it before then, but now I'm very curious to see how are they how are they next? Everything always gets changed. I know that this one also focuses on the VR game and people are dying and somebody's investigating into how this is connected. And also our other character that's taking place in this China period of the Cultural Revolution and how we all connect in with the aliens. Yes, so very excited to see how this plays out. And from what I heard is book 2 has some sort of time skippy thing. So I really want to see how this all plays out. This one was a very complicated one to narrow it down. Question 4 is a book that you've had forever but you haven't read yet. So there isn't a whole lot of those options, but it did come down to pretty much 2, and they're both Tolkien books. And this one, I guess this one, because the other one's kind of The Unfinished Tales. But The Silmarillion by J.R.R. Tolkien. Oh my god, I need caffeine or to go to bed. I don't know. So this is my bookmark from high school. in which I started reading this after the original trilogy. And I was like, I want to read more Tolkien. And then I got this far and I'm like, I don't even remember why I stopped. I don't know why I did not keep going. Maybe because it was a lot. It's you know, it's a lot of like history and things. If you've ever read the Silmarillion, you probably would understand, or tried to read it. You probably would understand. And eventually I want to go back. I do want to be able to say I finished it, because it is a big thing. A book a friend recommended that I haven't read yet. There's a few of those. I wrote down, though, To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini, because this was recommended to me by a friend who'd asked for recommendations for sci-fi after reading this one. And I named her a few, and I hadn't read this one, and she's like, it's awesome. So I was like, I want to read it, especially knowing with this and like this synopsis for Fractal Noise, which is kind of like the prequel, and I'm like, that sounds so cool. And I saw her. Question 6. A book that you're procrastinating on. So this one, I don't think I really have one. Because yes, there is these books that I have not read it. But the way I do my TBR or my MBRs now, kind of say MBR more, is kind of like I do the roll the dice to randomize it, select it, so that way I'm not focusing on one thing, which also makes it take forever on other things. I don't know, this is a problem. So I'm not really procrastinating because I'm not meaning not to read them. It's just the odds aren't in their favor. I feel like I'm doing a very bad job of answering these questions and maintaining eye contact this video, because I keep looking down and I keep meaning to read it and then say it to the camera, but I'm not. And I'm sorry, but this is probably what you're going to get. The next book on my TBR is probably going to be Wind and Truth. Though, if there was time, I would say I would squeeze in The Sunlit Man to reread this, or re-listen to it. I just audiobook it again probably. And try to understand why Sanderson is saying to read this before Wind and Truth, when canonically, chronologically, it's one of those words. It takes place way after Wind and Truth. So we know there's going to be a thing that goes down. So of course, you know, this possibilities, but what happens? Why? Why? Okay, 7 is just tag people, which always makes me nervous. I feel like I'm imposing on people. I don't know. Do it if you feel like it. If you don't have time or don't feel like it, that's perfectly fine. First 2 people, though, I know you guys do conduct tags, not okay words. Amanda at Amanda's Booktopia, and then Katie at Coffee with Katie. I don't think I've seen you guys do these, so I'm going to tag you. And Shelly at Shellspace, because you have much more shelves and book options than I do, so I think you would probably have fun with some of these tags. Questions. We're spiraling. We're spiraling. Okay. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and this was amusing in some form or fashion. And that you're having an excellent day. You'll subscribe if you did enjoy my ramble. Check out some of my other videos to know for sure. And just, I hope you're finding something great to read today, and I'll see you in the next one.